This is Dawn Marie, and I'm your host for The Jump. This podcast is all about inspiring change, courage, and confidence, building grit. I'm an executive coach and speaker. I've worked for 20 years as a finance executive in New York City and London. I've also attended Georgetown Law and Boston College, and I'm a New York qualified lawyer. I've studied personal development, performance, including sports psychology, and resilience for 15 years. I'll be giving you the techniques, mindset frameworks, and high-performance strategies to finally do the thing that you're scared to do. That jump, because that, my friends, is where the level up is. This is The Jump. Parachute required. Hi, this is Dawn Marie, and this is episode 3 of The Jump. This is a podcast all about taking bold action, confidence, and courage. And if you're at all curious, I still don't know how to shoot a podcast correctly, but I am learning as I go. I am failing forward. Now, behind me, you can't see the title of it, but it says The History of British Birds, which I love. I love the fact that that's there. I am not a British bird. I am a Colombian bird who was adopted by my parents. I was adopted when I was born in America, and I'm an American bird, but actually I am also a British bird. I have a dual citizenship. And if it goes tits up in both countries, then I will probably just go back to Colombia. Not that I've been there since age 5, but yeah, that's plan C or D. Today's episode is all about your non-negotiables, right? So part of the jump is again, it's every single episode is going to hopefully inspire you to do something different, to do something brave, to do something bold towards your dreams. And I don't like to use the word dreams too much because it sounds a little bit foo-foo, woo-woo. But let's be honest, there's something that you want that you're afraid to go after. We all have desires that terrify us. We think that we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We're not young enough. We're not thin enough. We're not good looking enough. We're not rich enough. We don't have the right clothes. We don't have the right gear. I sure as shit don't have the right gear, but I'm fucking doing it anyway. We think all of these things about ourselves when we think of that thing that we want the most. And then we say, nah, I'll wait. I'll wait until I'm ready. I'll wait until I have this or that, the other. And then here's what we do. We start to negotiate on our non-negotiables. We all do it. We do it in the little actions that we take every single day. So my question to you on this 3rd episode of The Jump is, what are your non-negotiables? Name them for me. Write them down for yourself. What are they? So for me, when I was living in London and working in hedge funds and private equity and running my own little regulatory practices, even before that, when I was a chief compliance officer, when I worked at the FCA before that, one of my non-negotiables was my freedom and my ability to travel, because travel lit my soul on fire. I could take a $50 EasyJet, sleazy jet. No, but I love EasyJet. I really do. I could take a $50 EasyJet flight anywhere in Europe. Normally I would go to, there is no normal for me, but Italy or the Dolomites or someplace I've never been before. That was my non-negotiable. Now, did I have other non-negotiables? Yep. Sometimes I would compromise on them. Now, I never compromise on travel, but I would compromise on my other non-negotiables every now and again. And here's the thing that happened when I did that. I would hate myself. Maybe not consciously, but it was there. I promise you it was there. When I became a transformational coach, before you're certified or before you go end a program, you graduate from a program to become a transformational coach, you have to go through all of your serious stuff. And you'll think, I don't have any serious stuff. I kind of dealt with it all. I'm 44, 45. Like I'm ready. I'm, high flying. No, dude, we all have that. That sits right in our subconscious. The thing is that subconscious is quiet, right? But it's the thing that is pulling all the strings. Over 90% of what you do, well, depending on what scientific study you look at, but it's between 60 to 90%. I personally think it is 90% based upon the scientific studies that I've looked at. Of your actions are driven by your subconscious, okay? So my talk about this is because before I could become a transformational coach, I had to go through all of my stuff, right? Which was harrowing, not an easy process. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. And one of these exercises was about forgiveness. And first you have to write a letter. Now, I don't know how my particular coach knew that writing was the way with me. So everyone learns differently. For some people, it's talking. And when I say learn, I also mean change. We all have our certain modalities. Some people, it's listening. Some people, it's talking. It's verbal. Some people, it's writing. He knew intuitively it was writing. So he was like, I want a writing exercise, right? And so he first wanted me to forgive my family, right? And I was like, I love my family. Don't say a bad word about my family. They did the best they could with the tools that they had, blah, 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 blah. Really, really defensive. And then I went through the writing exercise and I realized, okay, so there were a few things I need to look at. Then that was a hellacious week, those writing exercises. I mean, the next week he said, all right, now I want you to write a forgiveness letter to yourself. And I was immediately, he said it in a different way, a better way than I just did. And I immediately said, fuck no. I mean, that flew out of my mouth. There was a lot of stuff that I was angry at myself for that I didn't really realize. When you work with the right coach, they don't have all of the answers for you, but they know what questions to ask. They know what questions to ask. And in doing so, that kind of opens up a new level of self-awareness. How does this tie into knowing your non-negotiables? I had a lot of self-hate and a lot of disappointment with myself for negotiating on some of my non-negotiables in life. And I won't go into all of that here, but one of the things that I think is so important for you is to know what your non-negotiables are at work. What are they? Is it that you're not going to be talked to a certain way? Is it that you're not going to be cursed at? I was cursed at a lot as a woman in asset management. I was told I was a fucking idiot by a general counsel across an entire floor with 50 people sitting on it, sitting on the floor. Everyone heard. That happened. I was told to shut the fuck up, like it was a joke. I was told a lot of different things. I mean, I am a strong Latina. You think that men didn't try to break down that strength? Every chance they could. What are your non-negotiables? Write them down. Is it about the money? Do you refuse to work for less than a certain amount and all of a sudden you are? Is it about how many hours you work? Is it about the Saturdays and the Sundays that you put in at least 6 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours? justifying it to yourself that you don't have time to spend with your kids or with your partner or whoever it is, because this has to get done at work, right? It's super important. That piece of paper, that deal, that project. You'll remember it when you're 60, that Saturday, that Sunday. What are your non-negotiables? And when did you start negotiating on your non-negotiables? We all do it. Now, this is deep inner work. You might hear this and be like, nope, no. She's going someplace. I can't follow her. And that's cool. That's cool, dude. Like, I dive deep. But this will set you free, dude. Because, and by dude, I also mean women. I call everyone dude. It's part of my love language. You'll get used to it. I also curse like a sailor. Also part of my love language. Your non-negotiable might be, I will not work more than 3 weekends in a row. And you're at number 7. Especially if you're in finance or law. Why did you start negotiating on them? When did you give up on you? I know these are tough questions. I do. When did you stop fighting for you? When did you take that boundary and just start letting people cross it? Is the money worth it? Do you think that you won't be able to find that kind of money anywhere else, doing anything else? And why do you think that? Now, this is not to say I don't know what it's like to have like a mortgage, kids, bills, etc. Whilst I don't have children, I do know what it is to live with a tremendous amount of debt, student loan debt. But we have more choice than we think. We have more agency and more power than we think. And you can negotiate hard in favor for your non-negotiables. You can win back your weekends. You can earn more money. But you have to fight. You have to fight tooth and nail for you, because no one else will do it. No one. And no matter what age you are, whether you're 25 or whether you're 45 or whether you're 55, you're worth it, dude. You're worth the fight. You're worth the balls to the wall negotiation. You're worth the additional 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. You are worth it. There's just a small part of you that started to believe that you're not. And that's the piece that we need to deal with. Now, that was really intense. So everyone just take a breather, okay? Let's inhale. Hold at the top for 4, and then exhale. I mean, it was intense for me. I don't know how you're feeling. I wrote a free guide on how to negotiate your pay. Now, this original free guide, listen, there's so much science and links. I linked so much freaking other podcasts, like experts. One of the best guys, experts on negotiation is Chris Voss, VOSS, Chris Voss. You can listen to him on any number of podcasts. He's got an incredible book called Never Split the Difference. Buy this book today. Buy the book, buy the book. You can say thank you later. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Get Chris Voss' book. He also has I think he's got a master class through, I'm going to find out more on that. But this dude he is the bomb. I love him. And when I would negotiate from 500 a day to just under 2,000 a day, and I did that under about a 4-year time frame, when I would always negotiate for more money or more terms, they would want me asset management, like, forget about like negotiating more money in asset management. It can be done. I watch moronic men who can barely spell cat negotiate more money, and I was like, watch me fucking do it now. But negotiating terms of work. So I would negotiate and be like, I'm going to fuck off to Italy. I'm going to be working there for a month. And people are like, how did you get them to agree to that? And I just said, well, I found firms that were in a particular position, and also that was it. Like, that was my non-negotiable. I was going to sit in the office for 4 weeks first and work ridiculous 19-hour days and get to the bottom of what was really going on. And I always would. And then once I have all that intelligence, and I did my relationship building, I was able to go off site because that was a non-negotiable for me. Right. So when I did remember all of my non-negotiables and I negotiated balls to the wall, I got some incredible work deals. And I was damn good at what I did. You have to know what you bring to the table. Do you know what you bring to the table? Because if no one told you this today, you're fucking awesome. We all are. We're all part of the divine. Now, whether or not you believe in God or the universe or whatever, you're something exquisite. You are. The human spirit is indomitable. I'm actually sure I didn't say that word right, but human beings are unstoppable when they truly believe in themselves. And I need you to believe in you, and I need you to go fight for your non-negotiables. One of the best ways to do that is to read Chris Voss's book. I'm going to go into some of his techniques in later episodes. Another really good source is Harvard Business School. So there's two camps of, and actually in Chris Voss's books, he talks about how he went to Harvard because they were like, he can't be as good. Chris was an FBI hostage negotiator. That was his background before he went into teaching many other people about negotiation. So he went to Harvard and they were like, we can break this man. And the Harvard negotiation team, I'm sure there's a very official school word for the particular school, but they sat him down and they really put him through the paces, but he just did not break. So the moral of the story is that Harvard also has an entire school for negotiation and a ton of free resources. So check those out. And then also stick with me here, because I'm going to go through certain negotiation techniques. Now, one of the negotiation techniques that I always, I'm a big firm believer in is how you present yourself. So, see how I just uncrossed my legs? You can, because you can see the camera is down there. When you go into a negotiation, you have to sit really tall. See what I just did? I rolled my shoulders down and back. It made my neck longer, and all of a sudden I'm sitting taller. You have to hold eye contact just like this. You can't break the eye contact. You can't flinch, and you can't, you need to work on your poker face, okay? We can work on it. But just notice what I just did. I was kind of sitting here and when I'm playing ball, and I'm a baller, up straight, shoulders back, neck long, head really tall as if there's a string from the top of your head to the ceiling. And I want you, before you go into any negotiation, to take 3 minutes. Now, you can't see my feet, but they're planted firmly on the ground. There are no heels on my feet. And although sometimes I wear them in negotiation, depending on how I feel. Sometimes I wear sneakers and a t-shirt because I just kind of can say, fuck you, I'm going to negotiate how I dress. Not going to negotiate how I dress. But I want you to do 3 minutes of breathing before you go in and you negotiate anything. Because your nervous system has to be solid. You have to get out all of your stress and your bullshit before you walk into that room. And if you don't think you have any bullshit, I'm sorry. You're wrong. We all have our bullshit. Breathing helps you deal with your bullshit. I learned a lot about breath work over the past 15 years. And certainly over the last year, I got certified in something called hypno breath work, which is quite interesting because it uses music and journal prompts, and it's a 20-minute exercise. But I know a lot of different things about everything having to do with mindfulness, whether it's meditation, sound bowls, sound therapy, ASMR to help you go to sleep at night, you name it. All right, sidebar. Let's go back to the negotiation. Shoulders down, head nice and long, neck nice and long, head string from your head to the top of the ceiling. And I want you to just be really present before you go into that room. Slow down your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold at the top for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold at the bottom of the exhale for a count of 4. Again, inhale for a count of 4. Hold at the top for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold at the bottom for a count of 4. Inhale again. Fill up your belly when you inhale. Hold at the top for a count of 4. Exhale. Count of 4. Hold at the bottom for a count of 4. Get into the cycle of breathing. Okay? The cycle of breathing. Now, I would want you to do that for at least 3 minutes. Ideally, out of the office, near a tree or some piece of nature. Just ground yourself. That regulates your entire nervous system, and it will help you when your nervous system wants to have a complete anxiety attack when you go in and you're like, I'm going to need some more money. But it grounds you. When you are in fight or flight, literally, blood and oxygen is pumping to your extremities because your body doesn't know the difference between a lion running at you because it thinks that you are literally an aperitif, or a really stressful situation at work. Your body doesn't know the difference. But the neurochemistry within your body just thinks, okay, you're in fight or flight mode, so we need to pump oxygen to all of your extremities because you have to run. So what does that mean? That means oxygen and blood is literally leaving your brain. That is what high stress does. And when I have you in front of your boss negotiating more money, or just telling someone strategically to go fuck themselves and then negotiating what you want, there's strategic ways of doing this. You need to be completely calm and present. The best way to get there is breath work right before you go in. And then, of course, the mindset work and the journaling work and all different types of techniques you can do in the weeks and the days before you go in. But the breath work will really balance out that fight or flight technique. And you are infinitely powerful. You've just forgotten it. But I'm going to help you. But I'm going to help remind you of it with every episode. I love you. Have a good day. Go do something that scares the shit out of yourself. Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please forward it to friends, and I would be so grateful for a review on Spotify and Apple. Also, make sure you follow me on LinkedIn under Dawn Marie, and my website, www.dawnmarie.co. Please note, there is no E in Marie. No excuses. Check out the freebies tab on my website for guides on negotiating income and gaining clarity in your role. You can also follow me on YouTube at I Am Dawn Marie. For the ladies, if you're a female executive in finance or law, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Prime, which is all about taking bold action as a woman. I'll put links for these in my show notes. Until next time, I love you. Get your nose down, take a deep breath, and jump. Keep doing the things that you fear.